A single dad and his little daughter were just walking through the grocery store when they heard quiet sobbing behind them. A woman sitting on the floor, her legs trembling, tears streaming down her face. She looked up at them and whispered, "Please don't look under my skirt." What they discovered next would change all of their lives forever. Ethan Miller wasn't a man of luxury, but he was rich in something far more valuable: quiet resilience. At 36, he worked long hours as an auto mechanic, his hands permanently stained with engine grease and his back constantly sore. But every day at 5 p.m., no matter how tired he was, he wiped his hands, clocked out, and rushed to pick up the only thing that truly mattered to him: his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily was sunshine in sneakers. Freckle-faced, ponytailed, and endlessly curious, she had a laugh that could turn even the sourest days sweet. Ethan had been raising her alone ever since her mother passed away 4 years ago in a sudden accident. The grief had nearly swallowed him whole, but Lily's tiny hand in his kept him grounded. She was his purpose, his second chance. "Daddy, if I finish all my homework," Lily declared confidently as they hopped out of the truck, "can I get the big box of chocolate cereal this time?" Ethan snorted. "The big box? You mean the one that's 80% sugar and 20% cartoon mascot?" "Exactly," she grinned. "We'll see," he said, ruffling her hair. "Only if you don't make me read another one of your teacher's friendly reminders." "That was one time," she protested, crossing her arms. "And it wasn't even my fault the class hamster escaped. He wanted freedom." Their laughter echoed through the automatic doors of the grocery store as they grabbed a cart. Lily rode on the front, leaning forward like a pirate captain at sea, while Ethan playfully steered side to side. "Left turn, Captain Lily." Aye. They were halfway down aisle 7, still giggling over whether broccoli counted as leafy candy, when Lily suddenly went still. "Daddy, do you hear that?" Ethan paused, hands gripping the cart. There it was, a soft, shaky sound. Not quite loud enough to be a cry, but too pained to be anything else. A muffled sob. They turned their heads slowly. At the very end of the aisle, next to the hygiene shelves, sat a woman curled against the metal rack. Her knees were drawn up, one hand gripping her stomach, the other covering her lap protectively. Her hair hid most of her face, but her shoulders trembled violently. Lily whispered, "Daddy, why is she crying?" Ethan's heart tightened. The playful warmth of moments ago faded into cold concern. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. Ethan gently placed a hand on Lily's shoulder, signaling her to stay close. The laughter that once filled the aisle had evaporated, replaced by a tense silence that even the humming refrigerators couldn't drown out. Slowly, they approached. The woman didn't look up. Her breathing was shallow, ragged, like someone trying to hold back a flood. Ethan knelt down several feet away, keeping his voice low and calm. "Ma'am, are you all right? Do you need help?" As she flinched, her fingers clutched tighter at the hem of her skirt. She didn't raise her head. Instead, through trembling lips, she whispered, "Please don't look under my skirt." Ethan froze. Lily blinked in confusion, not fully understanding, but sensing the heaviness in the air. Ethan's voice softened further. "It's okay. I'm not here to judge. I just want to make sure you're safe." She shook her head violently. No, please, just go. I don't want anyone to see me like this. Please." Her voice cracked into a sob. Lily instinctively stepped forward, but Ethan gently pulled her back. The woman's hair fell over her face like a curtain, shielding her from the world. She wasn't just crying, she was hiding. Not just in shame, but in desperation. Ethan spoke softly. "Whatever it is, you don't have to go through it alone." This time, the woman lifted her head just enough for him to see her eyes. Red, swollen, frantic. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she shook her head again and whispered, If you see what's happening, you'll be disgusted." Lily, untouched by the filters of adulthood, tilted her head innocently. "We could never be disgusted by someone who's sad," she said softly. The woman looked at her, really looked. Her lips trembled as she swallowed hard. Her breathing hitched, shame battled with exhaustion, pride wrestled with pain. And finally, pain won. Her shoulders collapsed, a broken sound escaped her. I'm bleeding," she choked out. "I think I'm losing the baby." Ethan's eyes widened. Lily gasped, covering her mouth. The woman pressed her hand harder between her legs, trembling. I came to get pads, but I couldn't stand anymore. I collapsed. I didn't want anyone to see, didn't want anyone to stare." She curled into herself again. "I've already lost everything. I can't lose my dignity too." Ethan swallowed hard. This wasn't just a woman in distress. This was someone drowning in pain alone in public, begging the world not to look. And suddenly, Ethan knew. He couldn't walk away. Ethan exhaled slowly, steadying his voice. He had seen pain before, wrenching agony in the faces of people he once rescued as a paramedic. But something about her was different. This wasn't just physical pain. This was heartbreak tangled in humiliation. Before he could speak, Lily slipped something from her pocket. A tiny strawberry-flavored candy. She knelt down gently, placing it beside the woman's hand. "It's my favorite," Lily whispered. "I save them for bad days." The woman froze. Her eyes slowly shifted toward the candy. Her lips trembled as if she didn't know whether to laugh or cry at such innocence. A tiny choke escaped her throat. Ethan leaned forward. "My name is Ethan. This is Lily. What's your name?" The woman wiped her eyes with the back of her wrist. For a moment, she hesitated, as if saying her name would make her vulnerable. But Lily's gaze held no judgment, only pure, patient kindness. "It's Hannah," she finally murmured. "Hi, Hannah," Lily said with a soft smile, as if greeting a friend instead of someone breaking apart in a grocery store. "Can we stay with you until you're not sad anymore?" That did it. Hannah covered her face with both hands and shook with sobs. No longer contained, no longer silent. Ethan reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean cloth handkerchief. He placed it gently on the floor beside her. She didn't take it at first. Then, with hesitant fingers, she accepted it and pressed it to her face. "I'm sorry," she hiccuped. "I must look pathetic, crying on a dirty store floor, bleeding like a human," Ethan said firmly, "like someone who's hurting." She looked up again, startled, unsure. Ethan's voice was soft but unwavering. "You're not disgusting, you're not weak, you're not alone." Hannah shook her head, tears falling faster. "You don't understand. I'm pregnant, or I don't know anymore." Her voice cracked. "I came here for pads because I started bleeding. I told myself maybe it's normal, but it got worse. I tried to walk, but my stomach," she gripped it tightly, wincing. "I thought I could just grab what I needed and leave, but I fell. And I was afraid that if anyone saw the blood, they'd..." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "They'd think I was dirty." Lily's eyes filled with tears. Ethan's chest tightened. He remembered the day his wife had fallen in their kitchen, the way she clutched her side, the panic, the helplessness. He took a breath to steady himself. "Hannah," he said quietly, "you don't need to hide anymore. We're going to help you, I promise." She shook her head again, still trembling. "I don't want strangers to see me like this." Ethan nodded slowly, understanding. Then, without a word, he stood and did something she didn't expect. He removed his jacket and crouched beside her. "May I?" he asked gently. Hannah blinked in confusion. "What?" "I'll wrap it around your waist. No one will see anything. You'll still have your dignity." Her breath caught. Tears spilled silently. She gave a small nod. For the first time, she let someone help her. Ethan crouched beside Hannah, carefully draping his jacket around her waist, covering the dark stains spreading beneath her. His movements were deliberate, slow, respectful, making sure she never felt exposed. Hannah clutched the fabric tightly, her lip trembling. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "You don't even know me." Ethan paused, not because he didn't have an answer, but because it was so simple. "No one deserves to suffer alone," he said quietly. Lily nodded with a soft, determined frown. "And no one should cry in the cereal aisle. That's like illegal." A choked laugh escaped Hannah, half sob, half smile. For a moment, the crushing despair loosened. But around them, others watched from a distance, some pretending to shop, others whispering. Not one stepped forward. Ethan felt their stares like needles. He could sense their hesitation, their discomfort. People were willing to look, but not willing to help. Hannah noticed too. Her body shrank inward again, as if trying to disappear. "I don't want to be seen like this," she murmured. "Please, just leave me. I'll wait until everyone goes." Ethan looked at her, then at Lily, who was still holding Hannah's hand tightly. He had a choice. He could do what everyone else did, look away, walk past, pretend he didn't hear. Or he could act. Lily tugged his sleeve. "Daddy." Her voice was soft, but her eyes pleaded. "We can't leave her." Decision made. Ethan slipped one arm gently behind Hannah's back and the other beneath her knees. She gasped, startled. "W, what are you doing?" "Helping you stand," he said. "Or if you can't, then I'll carry you." "No, I can't, people will stare." "Let them," Ethan replied firmly. Hannah's breath shook as he lifted her carefully into his arms. She was light, too light, weak from pain, fear, and perhaps hunger. She clung to his shirt, mortified. Tears streamed down her face. But Lily walked proudly beside them, chin up, as if escorting a queen instead of shielding a broken stranger. Ethan glanced at Hannah. "We're taking you to the hospital." Hannah swallowed hard. I don't have insurance." "We'll figure that out later." "I don't have family." "You do now," Lily said confidently. Hannah looked between them. This man she didn't know, this child who loved her without question. And slowly, she stopped resisting. She let herself be carried. For the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to hope. Ethan gently helped Hannah into the passenger seat of his truck, carefully positioning his jacket beneath her so she wouldn't feel exposed. Lily climbed into the back seat, leaning forward with worried eyes peering between the seats. Hannah winced as she sat down, clutching her stomach. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I'm ruining your truck." "It's just a seat," Ethan replied as he fastened her seatbelt. "You're a human being." Hannah blinked rapidly, tears threatening to fall again. Once they were on the road, the low hum of the engine filled the silence. Ethan kept his voice calm, occasionally glancing over. "Are you still dizzy?" "A little." "If you feel faint, let me know." Hannah nodded, then hesitated before speaking again. "Why are you doing this?" she asked softly, turning her gaze toward the window. Most people pretend not to see. Ethan didn't answer right away. His hands tightened around the steering wheel, just slightly. "Because I know what it's like to watch someone suffer and feel helpless," he said quietly. Hannah looked at him, sensing something deeper but choosing not to push. From the back seat, Lily spoke gently. "Do you want to talk about the baby?" Hannah let out a shaky breath. I don't know if there's still a baby." A silence. Then she continued, voice fragile. "I found out I was pregnant 3 months ago. The father, well, he said it wasn't his problem. I thought I could do it alone, but..." She swallowed, guilt heavy in her words. "Maybe I wasn't meant to be a mother." Lily frowned deeply. "That's not true." Hannah smiled sadly. "You don't even know me." "I don't have to," Lily replied. You're sad because you love your baby. That means you're already a good mom. Hannah's lips quivered. She turned to face the window so they wouldn't see her cry again. After a moment, she whispered, "You know the worst part? I wasn't scared of losing the baby." Her voice cracked. "I was scared of people seeing me lose it, scared they'd think I was dirty, or weak, or disgusting." Ethan's voice came low and firm. "No one deserves to be humiliated for being human." Hannah closed her eyes, trying to believe that. The hospital came into view. Fluorescent lights glowed beneath the dusk sky. Ethan parked and reached for the door. But before he got out, Hannah grabbed his sleeve. Her voice trembled. If they say I lost it, can you not leave me alone?" Ethan met her gaze. "I won't go anywhere," he said. Lily nodded fiercely from the back. "We're staying, promise." Hannah took a deep breath. For the first time since this nightmare began, she didn't feel invisible. She didn't feel like a burden. And she felt safe. Ethan helped Hannah into a wheelchair provided by a nurse at the emergency entrance. Lily walked beside them, clutching the sleeve of her father's shirt like a determined little guardian. Nurses swarmed quickly, guiding Hannah into triage. Ethan gave whatever details he could, staying close but never overstepping. Hannah reached for his hand once, just to make sure he was still there. He didn't let go. After she was taken in for examination, Ethan and Lily were escorted to the waiting area. The bright hospital lights hummed overhead, casting long shadows on the dull blue chairs. Lily sat quietly beside him, swinging her legs. After a few minutes, she spoke softly. "Daddy, are you okay?" Ethan stared ahead, lost in thought. "Yeah, sweetheart." But Lily knew her father. She knew when he was lying. "Your eyes look sad," she said simply. Ethan exhaled slowly, rubbing his palms together, an old habit from years ago. "I was just remembering something." Lily waited, patient. Ethan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. For a long moment, he didn't speak. Then, quietly, "You know your mom. She got really sick before you were born." Lily nodded gently. "She was in labor. It was early, too early." His voice tightened. "I was a paramedic back then. I knew every emergency protocol. I had delivered babies before. I had saved people before." He swallowed hard. But when it was her, I froze. Lily's expression softened. "I called for backup. I tried to help her, but I couldn't fix it, not fast enough." His voice cracked. "She died before help arrived." Silence hung heavy between them. Lily leaned against him, resting her head on his arm. Ethan continued, voice barely above a whisper. "I quit the job after that. I told myself I didn't deserve to save people if I couldn't save the one I loved most." Lily looked up at him with wide, innocent certainty. "But you saved me," she whispered. Ethan's eyes glistened. Before he could reply, footsteps approached. A doctor stood before them, holding a chart. "Family of Hannah Wells." Ethan stood. "We're friends, is she okay?" The doctor gave a reassuring nod. "She's stable. We're still monitoring, but it appears she hasn't miscarried. The bleeding was likely due to a placental tear. We've stopped it." Ethan exhaled heavily, a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. "She asked for you," the doctor added. Lily grinned. "Can we see her?" The doctor smiled. "One at a time. She specifically said she wants the little one first." Lily lit up instantly. "That's me." She hopped off the chair and followed the doctor eagerly. Ethan watched her go, a faint smile touching his lips. Then he looked at his reflection in the glossy floor tiles. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like a failure reliving the past. He felt like a man being given a chance to rewrite it. Not by saving someone out of duty, but by choosing to care, even when it hurt. And this time, he wouldn't freeze. Lily tiptoed into the softly lit hospital room, her small hands clasped behind her back as if she were entering a sacred space. Hannah lay in the bed, pale but awake, eyes red from crying, but this time not from despair. When Hannah saw Lily, her face crumpled, not in pain but in relief. "You made it," Hannah whispered. Lily nodded proudly. "The doctor said your baby is safe." At those words, Hannah covered her mouth as tears poured freely down her cheeks, not of grief, but of overwhelming gratitude. I thought I lost," her voice broke. She clutched her stomach protectively. "I've been holding my breath since they took me in. I've never been so scared." Lily moved closer and placed a gentle hand over Hannah's. "You're not alone now," she said softly. Just then, Ethan entered quietly, standing at the foot of the bed. He didn't say anything immediately, he just let the relief wash over him. Hannah looked at him, voice trembling. They said the baby's okay. I still have to be careful, but it's alive. My baby's alive." Ethan nodded, voice thick. "That's all that matters." Hannah wiped her tears and attempted a shaky laugh. "I don't know how to thank you. If you hadn't helped me, if you'd walked away like everyone else. My baby." She couldn't finish. Ethan stepped forward. "You don't owe me anything. You're strong. You kept fighting." Hannah scoffed lightly, shaking her head. "Strong? I was on the floor crying in aisle 7. Ethan met her gaze steadily. "Strong isn't never falling apart. Strong is letting someone help you when you do." Hannah stared at him, stunned into silence by those words. Just then, Lily beamed and blurted, "Can I name the baby?" Hannah blinked. "Name?" "Yeah," Lily grinned proudly. "I already have the perfect one." Hannah smiled weakly. "Oh really? And what's that?" Lily lifted her chin with absolute certainty. "Hope." The room went silent. Hannah's eyes flooded again, but this time they weren't tears of fear or shame. They were tears of rebirth. She pressed her hand over her stomach. "Hope," she whispered, as if testing how it felt on her tongue. Then, stronger, "Hope." She looked at Ethan and Lily with awe. "You didn't just save me, you saved hope." And in that moment, hope wasn't just a name. It was a promise. The room felt different now, softer, warmer, as if something invisible had wrapped the three of them in a shared miracle. Hannah leaned back against the pillows, her hand resting protectively over her stomach, over hope. She looked at Ethan and Lily not as strangers anymore, but as something far more profound. "Family." "You know," she whispered, her voice steadying, "I've never felt this safe. Even before all of this, I was always alone. I thought that was just how life was going to be." Ethan pulled a chair close and sat beside her bed. "You're not alone anymore, not if you don't want to be." Hannah blinked rapidly, as if unsure how to process kindness that didn't come with conditions. Lily hopped onto the chair beside her dad, swinging her legs. "We can be your emergency people." Hannah tilted her head. "Emergency people?" "Yeah," Lily exclaimed proudly. "Like when something bad happens and you need someone to call. Some people have moms or boyfriends or grandmas, but if you don't, then we can be that." Hannah let out a watery laugh, wiping her cheeks. "You're making it very hard not to cry again." Ethan smiled softly. "It's her specialty." Lily puffed her chest. "I'm a professional kindness warrior." Hannah's laughter grew stronger. She looked at Ethan gratefully. "You're raising her well." Ethan's eyes softened. "She's raising me." Silence fell, not awkward but peaceful. After a moment, Hannah whispered, "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Why didn't you hesitate? Why didn't you just walk past me like everyone else?" Ethan inhaled slowly. "Because someone once told me," he said quietly, "that doing the right thing isn't about being a hero. It's about not ignoring someone when they need you most." Hannah stared at him. She realized then it wasn't just kindness. It was conviction. a man who carried pain but chose to heal others anyway. And Lily, a child who didn't yet understand societal walls, only people and their feelings. Hannah swallowed hard. "I want to be like that," she whispered. "For my baby, I want her to grow up knowing that people helped her before she was even born." Lily grinned. She already knows. Babies can hear feelings. Hannah laughed through tears. "Is that so?" "Yep, my dad says love is the loudest language, and you don't need ears to hear it." Ethan froze. Hannah looked at him, smiling softly. "That's beautiful," she said. Ethan cleared his throat, slightly embarrassed. "She says I'm the poetic one." "You are," Hannah replied. "You both are." Lily leaned closer to Hannah's stomach. "Hi, Hope, I'm Lily. Don't worry, we're your emergency people." Hannah's hand brushed Lily's hair gently. And in that quiet hospital room, 3 broken hearts began stitching themselves together. Not through blood, but through choice. The room went silent, the weight of her story settling between them like heavy fog. For a long moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. Finally, Ethan drew in a quiet breath. "You should have told someone," he murmured. She looked away, guilt swimming in her eyes. "I was scared. I didn't want to seem weak." "You weren't weak," Ethan said firmly. "You were surviving." Her lips trembled, and that was it. For the first time since he'd met her, Charlotte, this woman who wore designer armor and walked like she ruled empires, finally let herself break. Tears streamed down her face, raw and unpolished, far from the perfect image she kept up every day. Ethan didn't hesitate. He reached across the table and gently placed his hand over hers. No judgment, no pity, just understanding. "You're not alone anymore," he whispered. She looked up at him, surprised, not by his words, but by the sincerity in them. She had expected transactional gratitude, perhaps an official statement, maybe a charity donation in his honor. But what she found was humanity. Ethan continued softly. "Your daughter doesn't need a rich mother. She needs a present one who holds her when she cries, one who laughs with her over burnt toast, one who tucks her in even when she's already asleep." Charlotte let out a shaky laugh through her tears. "I don't know how to do that." Ethan smiled gently. "Then let me show you." Her eyes widened, not in romance, but in disbelief. "You do that after everything." He shrugged. "You don't repay kindness with distance. You repay it by showing up." For the first time, Charlotte didn't feel like a CEO. She felt like a mother who still had a chance. She straightened slowly and wiped her eyes. "I want to thank you properly." "You already did," he said with a nod toward Scarlett, who was now giggling on the couch, building a tower of crayons with grace. Charlotte watched them for a long moment. And something shifted. Not in her image, not in her finances, but in her heart. She wasn't just grateful anymore. She was awake. She turned back to Ethan. "Then, can we start over?" Ethan extended his hand, smiling. "Hi, I'm Ethan, single father, decent cook, professional lifesaver on weekends." Charlotte laughed and took his hand. Charlotte, workaholic, recovering perfectionist, trying to be just a mom. And in that small, sunlit living room, a businessman and a billionaire didn't make a deal. A father and a mother made a promise. The weeks that followed were nothing short of transformative. Charlotte didn't just visit occasionally, she showed up. The first morning she arrived at Ethan's house at 6 a.m., holding 2 coffees and wearing jogging shoes. Scarlett opened the door, blinking in confusion. "Are we running?" she asked cautiously. Charlotte grinned, "Well, trying." Scarlett laughed. Grace peeked from behind Ethan with the same sleepy skepticism. They didn't run much. They walked, they talked, they watched the sunrise together. That became their ritual. Day by day, the walls between billionaire and builder vanished. They cooked breakfast together, burnt pancakes, overly salted eggs, and once, a smoke alarm incident they all blamed on the toaster. Evenings were no longer lonely. They built blanket forts, played charades, watched movies with popcorn overflowing from bowls that were far too small. Charlotte struggled at first. She didn't know lullabies. She didn't know how to braid hair. She panicked the first time Scarlett scraped her knee. But Grace was right there, showing her how to wash the scrape gently. Ethan was there, whispering, "She doesn't need perfect, just present." And one night, something changed. Scarlett had fallen asleep on Charlotte's lap. Ethan watched from across the room, quietly folding laundry. The glow of the lamp wrapped them in warmth. Charlotte looked down at her daughter's peaceful face. No boardroom victory would ever compare to that feeling. She whispered, voice trembling, "Thank you." Ethan looked up. For what? For reminding me what life is really about. Ethan smiled softly. "I didn't remind you. You already knew. You just forgot." A pause. Then Charlotte said something she'd never said without caution. "You've done so much for us. Let me do something for you." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "You already have." "No," she insisted. "I want to do more." He chuckled. "You can't pay me." She shook her head. "I'm not talking about money." She hesitated, then spoke quietly. "Ethan, would you consider building a life together?" The room went silent. Not with shock, but with possibility. Ethan didn't answer immediately. He looked at Scarlett sleeping soundly on her mother's lap. He looked at Grace, now curled beside him on the couch, watching with wide eyes. He looked at Charlotte, no longer the untouchable CEO, but a woman stripped of armor, offering nothing but honesty. He leaned forward. "I won't promise perfection," he said softly. Charlotte smiled. "I'm not asking for perfection." He nodded, then yes. She let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Relief and unimaginable joy flooded her face. And just like that, they weren't two broken families trying to survive separately. They were something new, something stronger. A family built not from blood or wealth, but from bravery, sacrifice, and second chances.